All right, Hillary Clinton has apparently apologized for using a private email server in her home while she was Secretary of State, quoting from that interview. That was a mistake. I'm sorry about that. I take responsibility. Reaction right now from Ohio Governor, GOP presidential candidate John Kasich, who joins me on the phone right now from, I think, Brookline, New Hampshire. Governor, good to have you. What do you make of that? She apologized for doing this.
Well, it's hard for me to understand why she even had the server in her house, how it got put in there, what they were even thinking. And I think, this is one where she waited and waited and waited and got to the point where she has to say that she's sorry. And I understand she's going to Ohio tomorrow, going to Columbus, Ohio is what I understand, some reporter told me today, trying to soften me up a little bit, send me a little message,
What do you make of that she is trying to reboot her image and all that?
Well, I think if it's not working, you go and reboot, right? I think that's what you do, or else you back it in and say, it didn't work. I don't know if I've ever tried to reboot my image, Neil. Have you tried to reboot yours? Yeah, you have. I know you have.
All the time.
Yeah.
If it's not on the prompter, Governor, I don't know who the heck I am. But, Governor, let me ask you, you've seen this dust up over Kim Davis. She's the Kentucky clerk who was released from jail. I had her lawyer on saying that she will return to her job. Ostensibly, nothing changes. What do you think of that whole dust up? I remember you from the presidential debate on Fox last month saying, like it or not, it is the law of the land. In fact, you won applause for that and your own comments on having gone to a gay marriage yourself. But what do you make of this and how it will go if it gets resolved at all?
Well, my sense is when you're a government employee or you're elected official, I think you've got to abide by the ruling of the court. I favor traditional marriage. Ohio actually had in its constitution a traditional marriage, but the court overruled it and said no, and I've been willing to accept it. The other thing I would say, Neil, about this whole issue is that, we have a lot of young people that have walked away from or are confused or uncertain about personal faith. And one of the things that I know that's so great about it, being a flawed man, is that thank God we have grace. So sometimes I think people, you can have your personal views. It's how you handle them. And in this case, when young people or people who are looking at what is religion all about, what is faith all about, when they see dust-ups like this, my concern is they would go the other way and say, look, I don't want anything to do with that. So I understand her concern. I don't agree with what her decision has been. But I also think we have bigger fish to fry in terms of the whole issue of faith and what it means. Because for me, it means I get forgiven. It means that I'm supposed to live a life bigger than myself. It means that I have to be aware of those who are the downtrodden and the widowed, the orphaned. So that's kind of how I look at it, Neil.
So when you see Governor Mike Huckabee there, Ted Cruz there, do you think they should be there?
Well, look, I love Huckabee. He's a good guy, and I've given you my position, and that's how I feel about it personally.
No, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear that they're there, and so I'm saying political grants. Do you think they're grandstanding political?
No, well, do I think they're grandstanding? No, I don't know that these guys are grandstanders. They have strong views, and that's fine. I just don't happen. My position.
Right.
And that's what I'm sticking with, and I don't really need to comment on what other people are doing.
Governor, your views have not hurt you with whatever the religious right or whatever. You're second in New Hampshire. Nationally, I believe you're surging as well. You always come out on top on if Republicans didn't get their first choice, who's their number one second choice? You're that guy. That's a good position to be in, and you've done this without the shouting, ranting, and raving that has pretty much defined this campaign. What do you make of that, and whether how you go through and pierce that noise and register and resonate with voters?
Well, first of all, Neil, I've been a conservative all my lifetime, all of my political career, and people know that government is a last resort, not as a first resort.
But you know what your critics say to that, right, Governor, about the Medicaid thing and you've explained it, that saves money in the longer term, but that you're open to bigger government than your colleagues.
Well, I don't think that. Look, I think government has a role. But I actually want to shift a lot of power, money, and influence out of Washington, and I've tried to do it all my life. And let me ask you a question. These people who criticized me, were they the chief architect of the last time we balanced the budget? Did they cut the federal capital gains tax? Did they take a state that was $8 billion in the hole and move it to a $2 billion surplus? Did they strengthen the credit of their state? Have they been able to grow over 300,000 jobs? I mean, look, have they had massive school choice like I have? Have they given created a provision where a CEO could take over a school district and straighten the thing out? I mean, it's okay. But I have to also tell you that I believe that conservatism is also giving opportunity to people who live in the shadows. I believe that.
Okay.
Get them on their feet. And look, we're doing welfare reform. I don't know if you know this. I was involved in federal welfare reform. Now I'm involved in another welfare reform. So I'm not so worried about what they say. And we are doing well. And part of it, I think, Neil, is the fact that I have a record, and people want to see the plane landed. They're frustrated. They don't trust politicians, but I've been able to land planes, and most of the time the passengers have been happy.
Governor John Kasich, thank you very much. That'll do it.